Hey folks, I just wanted to show you a trade today. Today is Monday, September the 21st, 2020. And I just wanted to show you my daily 0 day to expiration date trade. I ended up using the futures on this. And the only reason that I did, generally speaking, I would prefer to use the SPX just because it's a cheaper commission-wise trade. But two things going on with this trade. Number one, this particular account that I'm using this trade in today is below $25,000, and so you have the day trading pattern rules that you got to follow, and that is not obviously applicable to futures, and so it was a little bit easier to do it in the futures. But the other thing that I want to show you here, if we just look at, well, let's look at activity here, and you can see. So I spent the weekend in California doing our dirt bike race, had a long 10-hour drive home last night, Sunday evening, and got home, and you can see this was a trade that I did at 2 in the morning, and that was just simply related to what was happening in the futures market. We were just having another sell-off here that has sort of just continued to slide. You know, the S&P's down $65 right now, with the market just open about 10-20 minutes. And that was sliding all night long. And of course, the big thing that we're looking at here, or the big thing that I looked at last night in the marketplace, as you look at, let's go out here a little ways on the charts, is that big, huge breakdown right there below that 50-day moving average. And of course, all of our indicators are giving us sell signals as well. And so you can see activity-wise there that about 2 in the morning, just before I hit the sack, I did go ahead and put in the call leg on this trade. And that should be really profitable right now. If I open that up, what was my fill on that? $1.50 was my fill on that. And I am going to look at probably rolling that down. Let's see what I could get out at. Yeah, 20-30 cents or so. So I got in at $1.50 at 2 in the morning. I could get out at 20-30 cents now. So I probably will look to maybe roll that down. And then activity wise, here you can see right before the open, about 7 o'clock my time, Mountain Time. Market opens at 7:30 my time. So just before the market open, again, we were getting pounded to that downside, and it seemed to have stabilized a little bit. I went ahead and put in a partial put leg. You can see it didn't quite match. I had 27 contracts here on the call side, 17 contracts on the put side, but brought in some premium there, and I think I hit that fairly well. I don't know what that would be running right now. It's about the same, still 85 cents. I just put it on, so there's not going to be much movement there. And then I've added to that as well with a little bit of a different spread here. So if we kind of look at everything that's going on right now in the risk curve, let's open this up a little bit. And you can see kind of where I'm at right there. I need to probably balance out the risk on this trade by maybe moving my call legs down. But we're still real early in the trading session, obviously, not even a half hour into the trading day. And so I want to continue to watch this. And we're going to watch this here on a 5-minute chart. Probably going to give it here just a little bit of time. But I would love the opportunity to maybe roll down that call leg and bring in even a little extra income on that trade. But you can see there that so far so good today. Got about $15,000 of capital tied up in that position. Brought in about $3,200 in premium. We're already pretty positive on the day. There's only about $1,300 of extrinsic value still left in that. And so it would be just, I mean, even if we could get, what we've got right now, even if we could close these trades out right now and say, listen, I traded, a half hour into the cash markets, put up 15 grand, made 1,800, that would be a great trade. But I think there's a lot more potential there in that. And so if we continue to see this sell-off here, we're still showing a lot of weakness here. Not down at the all-time lows here, but again, very early, just half hour into the trading session, so it doesn't mean too much. I will probably try to roll those call legs down and maybe balance this risk out a little bit. Maybe bring this cash flow zone down a little bit and add to the risk on the call side to balance out the risk here that we are taking on the put side. So we'll check back in a little bit here if I do decide to roll that down. All right, it's not too much later. It's about 8:10 in the morning, but we are at the low of the day right now, down about 72 bucks on the S&P. It's interesting. It's the NASDAQ that's led us up, and it's the NASDAQ that's leading us down with all of these monsters of tech. But percentage-wise, we're getting hit a lot harder today in the S&P than we are in the NASDAQ. That's sort of an interesting development. I think I'm going to go ahead down here. We're down here in these lower end of the trading range. And again, on that call side, those 27 contracts that I did earlier on the call side, you can see I sold those at about $1.50. Those have almost extinguished all of their profit potential. So I'm going to go ahead and close that leg out and see, boy, are they that expensive? That's not right. Let's take this look again. And okay, there we go. So NAP price is 25 cents. And if I could get out at even 15 cents, that would be amazing. Let's see if I can get a fill. I do get a fill there on that. Okay, so that obviously now unbalances the trade. I got nothing there on the call side, but I booked the profit there on the put side. I need to go back in now and put in a new call leg in this. And I'm going to come in here right at this 32.90 level. So it got out, again, short-term memory loss here. I got out at 15-cent credit. I'm going to try to get back in here at about an 80-cent credit. And let's try to do, how many contracts did I have again? 27 was what I was working with there. Let's see if I can get 27 again. That's going to bump up my buying power. So let me come down here just a little bit to where it's not. There we go. So that would bring in about $900. 700 obviously after commissions. So I'm going to try to get that filled at 75. It's working there. I'm only willing to really drop that to maybe 70. So I might have to adjust that. That's about $700 in profit. I'm going to let that sit there for a moment at 70 cents. And if that doesn't go, if those two legs there don't go, I'm probably going to need to move those down just a little bit. Okay, those filled at that 70-cent credit, but we're continuing to sell off here. So I take a look at this. Let's look at it in the curve. More balanced trade. It's a more balanced trade now. The risk obviously is balanced, and we're a little closer to the put side. But we'll see. We've got so much of a trading day left to go here. And so, yeah, we're looking pretty darn solid. Would be kind of crazy. We're showing about $1,200 profit on the day, another $2,500 sitting there. That's abnormally large. That's really way too much. It's too much profit potential. There is such as a thing as something that's too good. And what it usually implies is that either you got abnormal activity or volume or implied volatility, which is what we have today, or you are too close on your wings. And we might be getting there too close on the put leg if we continue to get this sell-off like this. But yeah, it looks pretty contained. And so, again, we'll just watch this. Probably the 32... I'm going to say probably the 32.30 level. So $3.5 down from here, which is, nothing based on how much we've already moved. Probably going to want to look to maybe even adjust that call leg a little bit more to balance out this risk. But right now, looking pretty solid for the day. It's 8:30, and again, it's not crazy. But we're continuing to get this sell-off. It's continuing to just sell off as the morning progresses here. and it's putting me in a too much of a positive delta situation where I need this now to come up to, if we look at it here, to sort of balance this out. So I'm going to go ahead here and I am going to add to the call legs here a little bit. I'm not going to slide these down yet. I'm just going to come in here and add a couple positions here on the call side. Boy, I don't want to go that heavy. Slide this down one more. 2,400 bucks, bringing in 300 bucks. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to send this trade here to balance this out just a little bit. See if we can get a fill on this leg. It's looking like it's down at 135. I'm going to try 140. Then bring in $300. There we go. So there's a little bit more credit to the call side. And if we look at it now here, let's look at it in the curve. Open this up a little bit. Okay. So we're starting to chop down that side over here. And I like what I'm seeing right now. I've chopped that down a little bit, makes it a little bit more equidistant. The risk is obviously now focused on more the call side than the put side. And we're, moving to the put side. So that's good. So I like everything here. If we hold this level or we continue to go down even more, then the next step is going to be cashing in the profits on these 24 contracts, moving these down as well. Okay, it's about 8:45 right now, and we're still hammering down here at these lows, but you can see that it's trying to find some buying power here. We are having some buying coming in down about 90, 95 bucks still on the market. I'm going to come in here and I am going to go ahead and pull this call leg right here. Those 24 contracts that we just sold just a while ago at 70 cents. I'm going to go ahead and pull those and see if I can get out at 20 cents. That would be great if I could do that. Well, I'm not even close. Let's try 30 cents. Oh, no, I jumped the gun, too impatient. I got filled at 25 cents. Okay, so I've pulled those now. So obviously now this looks kind of ski-wampus here with what we have going. Let me clear this out. There we go. I don't really have anything in the call leg. The reason that I did that, there's really no downside, I believe, in doing that. Number one, I booked a profit. Number two, if this can hold and we can come back a little bit again, I can resell either those same calls or some different calls at a higher premium. And then, of course, if we don't hold that level, if we continue this slide down here, I would have just rolled those call legs down anyway. So I'm going to just sit on this here for just a little bit and just watch these 5-minute bars and see if we can get a little bit of an uptick here. Again, I would want to come back in here and redo that call leg at obviously something better than that 25-cent debit that I got out. So again, I just barely sold those for a 70-cent credit, bought them back for 25 cents. So we would obviously love to do another 24 contracts at something better than 24-cent credit, right? So I'm going to continue to watch that here. And it does seem like we're trying to catch a little bit of a bid here. So we'll be a little bit patient here and see how it goes. Well, there you go. Just like I knew, just like I predicted, it came back up. No, you never know. That was very fortunate, but I did see the buying coming in there, and you don't know if that buying is going to hold, but it does look like it's holding right now, and so that's nice because I'm now able to get more money for the call positions that I want to go back in there and sell. Up almost 2,300 on the day. I got about 11,000 of capital committed right now, but we want to go ahead and we want to balance this out, right? I want to come back in here and do some calls. I'm going to try to do the legs that I already have in place and just add to those and just sort of balance out this risk graph just a little bit. You can see it's interesting now, of course. As I do this, I come down right to there. 19 contracts. Let's try 18 contracts. You'll notice that my buying power, it actually goes up. I don't have to put up any money to do this transaction because it's just simply balancing out the risk of this side of the transaction. So it's actually increasing the safety of the trade while obviously bringing in another $1,200 in income. So we're going to try to get that $1.35 on that. Looks like we're maybe close on that. Bring it down to maybe $1.30. And if that doesn't go, I might just let that sit here for just a minute. We're just a titch off on that, it looks like. Oh, it went at 130. Okay, so, and again, that's reflective of the market here coming back, I'd say fairly strongly. And so if we look at that now in the curve, we're positioned fairly well. Fairly, get rid of that if I can, there we go, fairly delta neutral, and the risk is fairly balanced. And, you know, again, we're in a pretty good position here to where if we get an additional sell-off here coming into the later part of today, we can capitalize by, again, booking some more of those profits on the call side, and vice versa. If we push up here to the call side and start to pressure those legs, we can book the profits on our put side and move those up as well. So I think right now, the only thing that I'm a little concerned with is that it's only 9 a.m. Mountain time. And so, you know, market closes at 2 p.m. I got a lot of time still left in the day. And my wings are fairly close. They're maybe a little closer than I would like them to be. But the market seems to be trying to stabilize here. So we'll just continue to watch this. But right now, it's looking really, really solid. You know, I've deployed in and out of the day here, moving in and out of those positions. I've deployed anywhere from about maybe $9,000 of capital to $14,000 of capital. If you want to just average it out at around $12,000 of capital and look at this and say, okay, well, we're already up about $2,300 for the day. We've got almost $2,700 of extrinsic value still sitting there. I mean, it could be a $5,000 day on maybe $12,000, $13,000 of capital. That's crazy good. So we'll just continue to watch that here. We definitely do not want to count our chickens before they hatch. Man, it is 9:30 and we hit that entry on that call leg just perfect. We're right back down here to these lows of the day. And boy, that was a nicely timed entry there on that call leg. We filled those at $1.30. And if I tried to get that filled right now, it's down at 70 cents on the mid price. So we've had some really amazing fills, fortunate fills, really. You can never time it perfectly. And we're running batting about 1,000 right now today. So, you know, that doesn't continue, of course. But right now, I think just all things being equal, let's get this trade out of here that we're looking at so that we look at what we actually currently have. I think we're pretty solid. Risk is equally balanced on both sides. Obviously not equidistant right now, but, you know, pretty close, pretty close. And oh man, lots of extrinsic value still sitting there. Good grief. It would be crazy. I don't think we're going to get all of that. I don't see that happening, but you add that extrinsic value to what we're already at profit wise on the day. I mean, those are crazy numbers. That's $5,000 profit on probably, you know, 12 to 14,000 of average total capital committed during the day. So we'll continue to watch this as it goes forward. It's excuse me, it's 9:30 now, and we're back to sort of some selling here, trying to find a bottom in this, and I want to even this out a little bit, and so I'm going to add some more to the call leg here. Let's look at how much I want to add to that. Maybe something like right in that range, about 3,600 bucks, bringing in $600. Just balance that out a little bit here. I have a bad internet connection for some reason. That's bouncing all over the place. I'm going to throw those calls in there. Did it go? Looks like it went. Okay. So here's our overall position right now. Again, balancing it out a little bit. I got 16,000 committed now into the trade with about 3,400 left in there. So again, about 5,500 total potential on the day there. And we'll continue to watch this, obviously pushing down at the lows of the day here. But I think right now, pretty happy with my positioning here. We do have the ability now to come in here because of how much I've over leveraged on the call side. Probably got the ability to put some stuff down here on the put side here if we can hold this for just a little bit longer and not have to add to my buying power. It's just a little bit before 10 o'clock now, and it does seem now that we've found a little bit of a bottom here. And if I look at my trade, you can see again we're a little closer to the call side than the put side. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add to my put leg here to sort of get us back here to a little bit more delta neutral there. We're a little bit negative there, a little bit more negative probably than we should be at this point. And so I'm going to add to that. And let's come in here. Let's look at the position that we have right there and see what we can do in terms of not really increasing our buying power. That's probably as much as I want to go there, 1,700. Add that in. Let's send that. Looks like I'm somewhat close there. I need to bring that down a little bit. Let's try 85. Don't probably want to go less than 80 cents on that. I do get filled at 85, so that was 350, almost $400 added into that trade. And then if we look at that now in the curve, you can see that that risk has been balanced back out again there on that put side. A little closer on the call side than the put side, but we are hanging right in there, still up about $2,200 or so on the day. Tons of extrinsic value sitting there, tons. And like I say, we're just before 10 a.m. So we've got a few hours here. We got 4 hours still left in the trading day. A lot of time here. And we definitely, it'd be nice to get some of that extrinsic value, obviously. But what we really don't want to do is give this away. We do not want to give that profit away on the day. So we'll continue to watch it. It's 10:10 and it's powering up here a little bit. We're sitting right at that V-wap number. And if I look at my position here again, now I got a pretty heavy negative delta in that. And if you look at it in the curve, you can see obviously closer to the call side than the put side. So I'm going to try to ramp up here, maybe 5 or 6 more contracts on the put side. You see that kind of balances that out a little bit. It's $2,600, bringing in about $390. So that'd be a net credit of $1.30. I get that filled. And there we go. Now I'm a little bit more balanced out again. So just again, as the day goes by here, just trying to keep this trade as balanced as possible. And now you look at the numbers. Now I've got about $20,000 of capital committed. We brought in about $2,000 on the day. Got about $4,000 still open and out there working. And again, it's rare that we're going to capture all of that, right? But 4,000 plus 2,000. I mean, if we could get 6,000 on a $20,000 capital commitment in one day, obviously that would be pretty awesome. Even if we closed it out now, up a couple grand for the day on that would be a nice trade. So we'll just continue to monitor it here. It's about 10:43 right now, and we're just kind of still hovering a little bit closer to the call side than the put side. I don't really have much buying power left. I think I could do 4 of these contracts right here. You can see kind of there on the risk graph what it's doing. It's just kind of bringing the risk down on the call side, elongating out that profit zone there on the calls, and then of course dropping it down on the put side. I'm going to try to get 4 in there. I think that's about the max. I think I've got like $1,800, $1,900 of buying power left, and that'll bring in a couple $100 as well. So I'm going to send that trade, and then from here on out, we're going to need to remove something and replace it rather than add 2 additional trades. Try to bring that down maybe 130. That'd bring in $233. I'm surprised that didn't go. Where are we sitting at there? Pretty close. Boy, I'm gonna make that sit. There we go. There we go. Got a fill on that. So I got filled, and we're starting to build. We're all in basically at this point. You know, almost 11 o'clock. 3 hours left in the trading day. About $22,000 of capital committed to the trade. Brought in about 2,700 so far on the day. Another 4,000 sitting there. So there's some stuff to work with here. You know, it's a little delta, not neutral, negative right now. But all in all, pretty darn happy with where we're sitting in that. I think that if nothing else, if just another hour and a half were to pass and we stay somewhat in this center zone, that would bring in and of itself, that would soak up about $1,200 of that. And that'd put us almost at $4,000 profit for the day. So it doesn't, you know, we don't need to run this thing out all the way to the end of the day, but we'll continue to just watch this. It's just kind of sitting underneath that V-wap number and just kind of consolidating there. Well, it's about 11:30 now, and it might be time for an adjustment here on the call leg. We are getting a little bit up there. You can see that it's trying. It just actually tried, and it's backed back down. It's trying to break up through that V-wap line. We're actually... It's pretty surprising. The NASDAQ has actually come back really strong. It's the S&P that's getting hit today. We got to watch this. This is what I'm watching. And if we break substantially above that V-wap line, you can see right now we're up about $2,700. Still $4,000 of extrinsic that we're trying to grind through here in the last 2.5 hours of trading, but it is trying to push up above there. And if we look at that in sort of the risk graph analyses, which is sometimes a little bit easier, I think, for me to visualize, you can see where we're at right there. We're obviously much closer to the call leg than we are to the put legs, and we're sitting right there. Those 9 contracts right there, those are the 3250s that we sold and the 3260s that we bought back. We're sitting right on those. And so I might look at, because I'm out of buying power, I got to do something equally on the put side, and probably these far puts that are far away down here. Closing those out at something like that, that'd give me an extra $2,600 of buying power to come back in and maybe do something else here. So I'm just really closely watching this right here. If it does, you know, break up above there and hold that level, probably going to want to make that alteration. About 11:38. So again, for my purposes of trading this, I tend to like to use 5-minute bar charts or 5-minute candles. And I want to see 2 candles there. I want to see it break above for 1 candle and then maintain that for a 2nd candle. And it looks like it is doing that. It's not running away with this. And so I'm going to wait for this candle to complete here. If the next candle is up above this, I am going to go ahead and make an adjustment. If the next candle is at or below that, then I will continue to just hold on and watch. Well, okay, it's 11:45, and this is why it's important to trade with rules. You know, even if your rules are wrong, it's important to have rules so that you're not just doing stuff emotionally and from the gut. And the rule again here was twofold. There's price levels. You know, if it hits a certain price level, then I need to make an adjustment. But it is in addition to the price level, it's the price action. And the statement that I had just made was that we wanted to see it break above, which it did right there, break above that V-wap, and then be able to hold that into the next candle. And it decisively reversed on that. We are now actually down below the VWAP with a lot of sell signals kicking in. And so right now it's, you know, we're still kind of cranking through that almost to the noon hour, almost down to about the last 2 hours of trading in the day. And it seems to now be coming back in the direction that we needed to. The trade is still a little heavy to the call side. You can sort of see there. Let me remove anything that we are looking at doing there. You can see the current way that the trade is constituted. We do have these 9 contracts right here, this contract spread that we sold the 3250s and the 3260s. Those are pretty close. Those are pretty darn close. So we'll have to take a look at those. Let's take a look at those 9 contract spreads right there. Whoops, that's the wrong position. There we go. There's the trade. Yeah, you can see that it's showing it's upside down. Well, it's upside down a little bit. We brought in about 2,000 of potential theta or extrinsic there and spent about 1,000 there. And it's just not quite there yet. Maybe, you know, maybe a $500 upside down on that one particular position. So again, the technical analysis is saying to just hold on. Well, we're almost perfectly positioned here going into the noon hour, about 2 hours of trading left. It's interesting, you know, it hit our rule perfectly there just as it popped above the VWAP line. We're now sitting on the 50 moving period line right there. You can see how that's kind of acted as a resistance level there, resistance level there, resistance level there. So it'll remain to be seen here in the next couple of candles, which of course would be 5-minute candles. That's about another 10 minutes of trading. If we can hold this level, or if we're going to go even lower, it looks like right now it's trying to hold that level, but we're really pretty optimally, I think, positioned. If you look at that without spreading that out, you can see we've over the day here, we have added and subtracted and moved around a bunch of positions. But essentially, at the end of the day here, it was just meant to try to keep us as delta neutral as possible. Really, really good in terms of doing that right now. We've been, for the last hour or two, pretty close to the call leg, starting to back that down just a little bit now. And again, the most important thing now is that we are entering that race against time, the 2 hours left in the trading session. Once we get it down to about just 1 hour left in the trading session, then we can start to see that the theta, the time erosion, starts to outstrip any mistakes that we have made. In other words, that time erosion starts to really, really work for us. It's already working for us. We're starting to crank through that now. Not showing, you know, $4,000 of profit yet, but well above $3,000 profit for the day. Still another 3,000 sitting in there. And again, that the next hour, assuming again we don't have any massive big moves here, should be very favorable to chipping that away. So we'll come back here either when there is another action that's necessary, or we'll try to check in here around the 1 o'clock hour. Well, a lot has happened here in this last little few minutes. It's about 1 o'clock, so we've got 1 hour left in the trading day, and this is about as good as you get as you're going into closing anymore. It seems like it is a decent range. It's quite a big range. You know, we're bouncing up here around the 32.45 level. We've been down to the 32.22 level, so it's a decent range, but it is a range, and that's the real key, is that it's not really trending, it's consolidating. And that's what we need, because we've done, I think, a pretty decent job of building out our legs today. Had to move and shake and shuffle some things around a little bit here. But we got right to the point that we wanted to when things started to settle out. And wouldn't you know it, right now, with about an hour left to go in trading, we're just about dead center, which is wonderful, right? That's fantastic in terms of where we want to be. We very quickly pushed above the 4,000. We were having around $3,200, I think, in income that we could book at any time. We've still obviously got a big position open here. Pushed right past the 4,000 level, and now are pushing up against the 5,000 level. So again, this last hour is it's twofold in the last hour of trading. It's when all of the rest of that is going to hopefully show up. We've got 1,700 of extrinsic value still sitting out there. It's also when all of the big moves tend to happen in the marketplace, and it's very easy, very, very easy to give all of that hard-worked profit back at the end of the day. So we just want to watch this closely here in this last hour. It's tight candles, small candles, decent defined range. So pretty confident here, but again, we just want to stay on top of that going into the next hour of close. About 109, 51 minutes to go, and we are pushing right back up there to that V-wap line again. The V-wap line is a lot more, because of the way it's weighted, it's a lot more, I guess you should say, responsive at the start of the day than at the end of the day. But it's still an important line there. And so we are, watching that closely, still up about $5,000. Got about $1,800 of extrinsic value still sitting in those positions. But pushing, obviously, again, closer to the call leg again. And so we just want to watch that as it's going forward here and see if we can hold this area of resistance or if we break through. And then once again, just like we did back in here, if it breaks through, want to see the next candle, the next 5-minute candle, for confirmation one way or the other. And then we'll probably want to start taking some of those call legs off of the table. But we really are in a race against time right now. Just about 50 minutes left in the trading day. 116, about 44 minutes left in this, and it's been a tug of war here right at this area. We were just negative here. We were just negative, under $70 down, and now it is definitely looking like it's trying to confirm to the upside. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to close out. You can see where we're at here. We're pushing right up there on that 30-50 level. So I'm going to go ahead and close that portion of the leg out. Let's get the right trade here. Here we go. I'm going to take those 9 and take 9 from over here. Go ahead and close those. Again, my internet is just horrible here. Let's see if we can get these filled out. I got a partial fill, 6 out of the 9. So close. There we go. Okay, so that's not a bad fill, really. I was thinking I was going to have to come in and alter that just a little bit more now. So we're showing up about $4,000 on the day with about $1,100 of extrinsic value still left, and a little bit better numbers here if we look at that in the risk curve now. You spread that out a little bit. We're not quite as close. We've got 2 contracts sitting here at the 3260 level. So we're a little closer here. One of the things that I did not do is I did not email Tastyworks back saying that I am watching my positions. And so even though you can see here on that call legs, I've got, almost $900. So, there's about $1,000 of total extrinsic value, about 900 of it sitting in that spread right there. I'm probably not going to get that even if it stays below that 32.65 level, because I'm betting you that Tastyworks is going to close me out here prior. They usually do it around the 151 to 155 time frame with 5 or so minutes left. in the trading day. So I'm going to continue to watch this here. I might see if I can throw another little trade on. Okay, so as this starts to push up here now, I'm going to try to get one last shot at this thing here before the market closes. I'm going to add about 7 contracts on this spread right down here on the put side to try to balance that out. Again, that uses up all of my available buying power, but it balances the trade out again a little bit better and brings in a couple $100 of potential income. I have to replace that down to the 70 level. See if we can get a fill there. My computer is running slow and the internet is horrible right now. There we go. We get that fill. And that's it pretty much for the day. Very shortly here with 15 minutes left, you're only left with the ability to do closing positions. So hopefully we can stay range bound here. And if we can, I'm just wanting to look at it here in the curve and see what we're up against here. There's our new position now. Looking pretty good going into the close. We're looking at overall here about $1,000 of extrinsic value still sitting there. We've booked about 4,300 for the day. So maybe 5,500 if we could get about 5,000. That'd be a great day. Well, 20 minutes to go, and it is just a fight right now. It is an absolute fight against time. It's against this chart, which is not running in the direction that we would like it to. We want it to come back down here. It's showing some strength, although albeit it's sort of plateaued off here. And a race against Tastyworks Risk Management Department, who I did not inform earlier today, as I should have, that I was going to be managing and monitoring these positions. And so even though, you know, our leg here is at 32.60 and we're at 32.55, which, you know, again, would not be exercisable, certainly could be in the after hours, right? 15 minutes after the market, after the cash close. And because of that, Tastyworks will probably close that position out for me. So the question is now there's about $900 or $1,000, $900, I guess, of potential value still left in that leg. And they usually will start closing that out about 12 to 9 minutes or so before the market close. Obviously, if you don't do something like that yourself, or unless the market moves substantially away from that, but it would have to move fairly substantially, I believe. So we're going to watch this here going into the close. Again, we're showing a nice profit on the day, a little over $4,000 on the day. Still about $800 of extrinsic value left there. I got to watch it closely though. If that thing pops any more than this, we're going to need to close that out on our own and not wait for Tastyworks to do their risk management part. All right, here we go. We are 147, and this is, you can see, this is Tastyworks working this trade for me. They are trying to close that position. They'll work it up slowly. They do a pretty good job of it, actually. They don't just throw the trade in there at the ask or the bid price, whether they're buying or selling. They're trying to work the trade and get it positioned correctly, but they're trying to clear that out. That's what they're trying to do right now. There's still $500 of extrinsic value still sitting in that, and there they go. They fill it at 10 cents. So they got 7 contracts of those filled. Let's just refresh this and we can see where we're at now. So now they're working the calls. Here come the call side. It's always interesting the very first time as a trader with a brokerage firm like Tastyworks. There they go. So this is what we're left with here. I was going to say it's always interesting when you see someone else trading inside of your account for you remotely. But it's a nice feature that Tastyworks has to manage that risk. Really no extrinsic value left yet. So that's pretty much, even though we're not done on the day, even though we've got basically 10.5 minutes left in the trading day, you can see that pretty much zeroes us out. We're basically down to nothing on extrinsic value. Up 48, almost $4,900 on the day. and we were trading about 19,000 in total capital. So not a bad day, guys, for the 0 day to expiration trades. Almost $5,000 profit on about 19 grand in capital. Hope that was informative for you. We'll do another one Wednesday.